gardened a lot because gardening could always be there for you. And so during COVID, I actually trimmed my rose bushes every day. I got crazy. But I garden a lot because my husband is also a chef. So everything that we grow, we eat. So right now, going in my garden, I have onions and carrots and then one little tomato plant going. And then I have lemon trees, orange trees, avocado, kumquats, apples, blueberries, and blackberries. Thank you. I love gardening. And I just put some new soil in, and I'm gonna get ready for cucumbers and peas and tomatoes and sugar snaps. I'm gonna get ready for all of my spring and summer vegetables. I just turned my soil, and I'm really ready to go, you guys. So I'm gonna fuck it up this spring. But yeah, I love gardening. It's become a real joy of mine. Thanks. Like Martha Stewart said, if you want a happy life, get a garden. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi there.
Hi. So my question actually goes back to Roswell.
Yeah.
Because like I was obsessed. It was my whole life. Roswell was my world. And I wanted to know, so Roswell almost got canceled after the second season. And the fans did like a Tabasco drive where we mailed in a whole bunch of Tabasco sauce. Did you guys know about it?
Yeah.
What did you feel? What did it?
I mean, how touching. Thank you. If you had anything to do with that. We had heard, I remember on set, that the people, fans, were sending in Tabasco and sending them in the thousands, and that it was working. You know, it was really working, and this was at a time before social media, so it was like people really must have been on the ground calling each other and emailing. I don't even know if email was around then. And I think we were really touched, and it worked. Had that campaign not happened, I doubt Roswell would have gotten maybe a second season, and then they did it the second time when the show got canceled, and was the reason the UPN picked it up. So I really think that the longevity of Roswell is thanks to the fans and that campaign to begin with. Yeah, thanks. Isn't that cute? Thank you.
Hi, I had the honor of doing a meet and greet with you, and thank you for that. But you mentioned that normally you like to do movies that are like love stories and stuff. So I was wondering, how did you get into The Devil Candy and Thrill of the Kill? Like, who recruited you, and how did you get into those two movies?
Oh, how did I get into the two movies? Which ones?
Thrill of the Kill and The Devil's Candy.
Oh yes, those two horror movies. Yes, The Devil's Candy I auditioned for, and I auditioned for it with the lead actor Ethan Embry. And The Thrill of the Kill, I think, is a Lifetime movie, but I can't remember. I think that was a Lifetime movie, and I think they just asked me to do it, and I think I said yes. But I'm always happy in terms of acting. I'll do anything. I'm happy to just act, but if I'm like going to direct a movie and make it be the thing that I really want to put out there into the world, I'd like it to be When Harry Met Sally.
Yes.
Thank you. That was fun. Thank you.
Hey there. My name is Atlantis. It's an honor to meet you. Your character Tara, I was watching the show growing up as a kid, and your character Tara really reminded me of Cyndi Lauper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I was wondering if you took any inspiration from her, and I guess if you got any kind of deeper meaning or sentiment from Tara's character.
I don't think I took anything from Cyndi Lauper, but maybe Hair and Wardrobe did. And I think that she was a real fighter. She had like a lot of grit, and she was a real kid that was sort of like a latchkey kid out there on her own trying to make her way. And I wouldn't say I'm a latchkey kid, but I'm definitely like a bit of a hustler and a fighter and sort of trying to climb my way to the top. And I think that's very, she had the same kind of characteristics. So I think that there was just a strength in her that I really sort of admired and connected to. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hello. I wanted to ask you a directing question.
question, or a question about your directing
Sure.
thing. I noticed there's 2 shows that I watched that I really enjoyed that you directed episodes of. One was Young Sheldon, the other was Brownish. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Both of them have a lot of seasons, and you directed a few episodes. I was just curious, like, how hard was it to just kind of come in and do like a few episodes of what was a long running show?
Yeah, sure. It's a great question. Thanks. So Young Sheldon, I directed 4 episodes in spades. I loved it. In seasons 4 and 5, and that's like a very well-run, tight show in terms of they know exactly how they want it to look. You know, every character on the show knows exactly where they sit at the dining room table. It's a well-oiled machine. It's really well run by Steve Bellaro. And so that's coming in and really just knowing how to do the job, operate it, but then also know that you're not the creative visionary on that show, and allowing everybody else to sort of continue with their process of explaining how they want it to work. So in that one, it's about having a lot of grace and a lot of flexibility with the creative team, and at the same time being prepared. And I would say that the way that Young Sheldon is sort of run, which is very thoroughly, Grownish was the opposite, which was Shiri, go crazy and make the show as creative as you possibly can, take big swings, let us see an episode from you that we haven't seen before. Grownish, I ended up doing 8 episodes of that show, and they brought me back all the time because they liked what I did. And Young Sheldon, they brought me back 4 times. So both of them I was able to sort of realize, like, yes, I'm hosting the party, but it's like, I'm just hosting this party, not the big party. So it's really, as an episodic director, knowing how to come in and sort of make yourself liked without trying to take over. I hope that answered the question. Thank you.
Hi. I saw both of your performances on Law & Order SVU.
Thank you.
You are phenomenal.
Thank you.
And I would like to know what it was like to work with Mishka Hargitay.
I love Mariska. Mariska's amazing. Yes, they brought me back for 2 episodes. One of them I played a Marine that was raped. And then the other one I played a person who was in therapy that like blew up her therapist's wedding. And then tried to kill my therapist. Something like that, you guys. Something like that happened. And on the very first episode that I did, my daughter was like 7 months old at the time. And Mariska Hargitay has a very famous mother as well. And so I said to Mariska, I'm never gonna bring my daughter to set. I don't want her to like see this. I don't want her to be influenced by this world. It's not real. And Mariska said to me, no, you have to bring her to set. She has to see that where you go every day is a happy place. She has to see that you're having a good time here. And so I think because of that advice, she really changed the way I parented, which was like bringing my kids to set all the time, and they think that when I go to work, I'm having like a party. And so she gave me really good life advice. She's she's very similar to Lucy in the sense that she's a very strong woman in a very male environment. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jen. I just want to play off the person who was talking about Roswell.
Yeah.
I was one of those psycho people who drew scented Tabasco sauce.
Thank you. I appreciate that, you guys. Thanks.
And when I saw you on Xena as Tara, how do you make that character transition from Liz to Tara?
Yeah.
Such different personalities, processes.
I mean, that's kind of the gig, right, of actors. You sort of take what you're given on the page and how do you breathe life into these roles. And I'd say both of these characters were young women that were sort of trying to find their place in the world. And they sort of both represent who you are at the time. Except with Rachel, I was never that crazy. But, you know, Liz Parker sort of was like the emotional, boy crazy, focused on like education, and kind of like she was more like me than anybody else. And Tara obviously had more like fire and grit to her than Liz Parker did, but I guess they're all just sort of like pieces of yourself. You find a little piece of yourself as an actor, and then you sort of just blow it up as big as you can to have it fill the role.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you guys are so polite with all the clapping. Thanks.
Hi there. I loved you and Xena and also Roswell, and I'm so excited to learn that you're a director. I'm excited to watch your projects as a director, and I just kind of wanted to know, as a director at this stage in your life, what themes would you love to explore in your projects, and which actors that you have worked with in the past would you cast in those roles to explore those themes?
Great questions. Thanks for asking about the directing. I am also doing a talk tonight at 6:45, sort of talking about how I started getting into show business growing up without ever seeing a female director, and then how did I become it, and then sort of talking you through the process of what it's like making an entire episode of TV, if anyone's interested. But I would say the project, your first question was like, what projects do I want to be making?
Yes.
I have a few movies that I'm putting together or are put together in various stages, getting ready to be made. And one of them is about childhood grief, and how do kids learn to process grief and deal with grief. The other one is sort of a romantic comedy for Disney about a boy and girl growing up next to each other. They get into a big fight, and then they wake up and they're 40 and married. And how do you sort of reconcile that and learn how to fall in love with parenting and realize what partnership is? So I think the themes in my life as a director that I really want to explore: parenthood, finding yourself new again when you're in your mid-40s. How do we deal with children having experiences? You know, I love directing kids, having been a child actor myself. But I just like things that have a lot to do with family and sort of how we heal and build and overcome, and how do we all come together to support each other. And I always think that a comedy mixed in with emotion is really my sweet spot. You know, you can let somebody laugh while you're also making them cry. So that's what I want to make. And what was the second part of your question?
And this dream project
Yeah.
that is going to be coming into your life soon, I feel it manifest.
Do you feel it?
I feel
Manifest
it
it
for
for
you.
me. I love
Yes.
that. Thanks.
Yeah, this dream project has come for you. Who would you cast that you worked with in the past?
Okay, so somebody I would work with in the past, and I've worked with before, I would work with Kerry Washington in a heartbeat. I would work with Yara Shahidi in a heartbeat, Ryan Eggold, Lucy Lawless, just saying, we're here. And I'd love to work with Kristen Bell and Rachel McAdams. There's a ton of actresses I would really love to be the go-to actresses for women my age, like Reese Witherspoon, Jen Gardner, Jen Aniston, you name all those girls. I should be directing all of them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Shiri.
Hi.
I'm from Chicago, and we loved you on Chicago Fire.
Thank you.
And I was wondering how you got to Chicago.
Sure.
And your chemistry was so great with Lauren, and we were so disappointed that we thought you were going to become like a regular character.
Yeah. Well, I got to Chicago taking an airplane. Chicago Fire. So Derek Haas wrote it, and he was the showrunner of Chicago Fire, and we're friends. And so he called me and asked me, like, hey, I have this part, and it's a pregnant lesbian. And I was like, well, Derek, I haven't told anybody yet, but I'm pregnant. And so that's kind of what happened. That's really how I got the job, was just a friend called me and asked me if I wanted to do it. And then Lauren German, who you mentioned, she and I went to college together. And so we were friends. So I think there was like a familiarity that maybe you're picking up on because we were friends. And then I think after I did Chicago Fire, maybe I got Unreal. I can't really remember, but I I think I did 6 episodes, and I was very happy to work because I was pregnant at the time, and they just kept flying me in and out of Chicago, and it was great. And who works when they're pregnant? Another funny story, though, is when I had my second pregnancy, I also played a pregnant lesbian. Both times. I've never played a pregnant lesbian again, unless I'm pregnant, so it's weird. I don't know what it means about like what I'm putting out when I'm pregnant, that I keep getting cast as lesbian, but I do. It's fine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I think so. It's your turn. It's you.
It's me. Oh, it's me again. Hey, I wanted to ask you, I know, well, first of all, just, you've been such a huge inspiration for me, just like the last 25 years, starting with Roswell, and just your character, and I know that there's many of us out there that like can say that about you. You're just so sweet and so down to earth, and your character of Liz Parker just really, I really related to it growing up. And so my question with regards to Roswell is, I know you had mentioned that you had the pilot uniform. Did you have, or were you able to take home any other props from set from Roswell? That's part one of my question. I'll let you answer that first.
Okay. So I was saying earlier that the waitress uniform that I get shot in the very first episode of the show, someone sent it to me like 15 years ago, so I have it framed in my house. Anything else I have like a sweatshirt and like maybe the menus from the crash down, but I don't have anything else like big. In my house, I have like the framed uniform from Roswell. I have the framed outfit that I wore on Unreal that says this is what a feminist looks like, with the jacket and the fanny pack. And then I did this other show called Life Unexpected, where I played a radio talk show host, and I have the radio, the mic that I talked. I have all of those sort of up on the wall. And I'm like, oh, there's my girls. I walk by them every day and just acknowledge them. So, but other than that, I don't have anything else.
Do you ever, since Covina's not too far from here,
Yeah.
and that's where Roswell was filmed, do you ever go and visit, like for instance, like Casa Moreno, where, you know, the Crash Down Cafe was? Like, do you ever go and visit?
I don't go to Covina, no, but I do live, like there's no reason to go there, no. I mean, maybe there's a reason to go there, but I don't have that reason. So, but I do live near Paramount, which is where we shot the show. So I drive by there a lot thinking like, man, I was 20 years old working and shooting in LA on this beautiful sound stage. So I think about Roswell more in terms like that, or when I drive by Fox, I remember auditioning there with Jason Behr. Like, there's more like local landmarks that will remind me of the show for sure. I mean, it's definitely, I have the magnets on my refrigerator. And my husband's sometimes like, can't you just move on? I haven't, I still have time.
It's okay, many of us haven't moved on.
Okay, that's everybody.
Thank you so much, Shiri.
Thank you, thanks.
Hello,
Hi,
I'm Yana.
hi Anna, I'm Shiri.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I watched Unreal before I got into the Xena fandom,
Oh,
and
wow.
I absolutely fangirl you. Alright. It was a great show, your character was awesome. And then when I watched Xena, I didn't even realize Tara was you.
Oh, wow.
Because of the way everything, someone tagged you on Instagram, I was like, wait, that is Shiri Appleby. Like, it was really, wow. And I'm so happy that you're a part of Xena.
Thank you.
It's so awesome. And how did you feel when Creation wrote a call to come to a XenaCon? Because it's like so long ago, it's kind of like a small part of the show. Like when they announced you, I screamed. I was like, oh my God, yes!
That's so
That's
nice.
awesome. How did you feel about it to come to a XenaCon after 25, 30 years?
I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, like the fact that anybody's interested in anything you make is mind-blowing because we're just like in concrete boxes, like shooting shows by ourselves. So the idea that anything that you've made continues to have a life and find people that connect to it is exciting. I went to one other convention in my life, 90s Con. I went, I think, last year, and somebody I work with was like, you know, people keep talking to you about like Xena or directing or Unreal, or you have a lot of things that people are talking to you about. And they said, Xena's kind of a thing. And I was like, well, I'll do a Xena convention. And that's just kind of how it kind of came about. Maybe like we put it out there or something. But I just think it's amazing that I have any kind of career that any of you guys are even interested in and have watched all these years. So it's pretty amazing to be sitting up here to talk about it. Yeah.
Thank you.